Welcome to Kickstarter Conniption. I'm Kevin Delp.
And I'm Melissa Delp.
We're happy to be part of the Tantrum House family. Today, we're looking at Infected. It's a social deduction game set during the time of the bubonic plague. It plays up to 6 players, and it's on Kickstarter in March.
During the game, one player is the plague doctor, and the rest are villagers. Now, the plague doctor, instead of healing, is trying to kill the villagers. And the villagers are trying to figure out who the plague doctor is.
The Plague Doctor's deck has a few safe cards, some cards that force players to roll for safety or infection, and then some actual infection cards. Some are immediate, and others take a round or two to take effect.
The villagers' decks are all the same. The majority of the cards are safe cards. There are a few roll the dice cards, and then some vaccine cards. One protects the player in the current round, and the other protects in the next round.
At the beginning of a round, each player will play a card face down in front of at least one other player. The number of cards and who you give them to is determined by this card. You pick a column and follow the directions based on the number of players currently in the game.
The players will look at the cards that have been given to them, and then they will announce, starting with the first player, whether they are safe, infected, or if they need to roll that infection die. Infected players will be immediately eliminated from the game.
You claim safe for the round if you receive a safe card or a vaccine. If you receive an infection card and a vaccine card that are active on the same round, the vaccine will protect you. Some infections are delayed though. If you receive one of those, you're safe until the round it activates. If you're lucky, someone will pass you a vaccine at the right time.
The different types of infection cards make it tricky to try to figure out who the plague doctor is. When someone becomes infected, you don't know if they were passed that card this round, last round, or maybe even 2 rounds ago.
If you are safe, you can accuse someone of being the plague doctor. If you're right, then you villagers win. But if you're wrong, then you're out of the game. If you've been passed any type of infection card, even a delayed one, you can no longer make an accusation. But you could still try to get the plague doctor out of the game by giving him a roll the die card. If he rolls an infection, he'll be eliminated.
I don't play a lot of social deduction games. They're not really my favorite type. But I do think this game brings something interesting to the table with the deck of cards that each player has. It's less about verbally manipulating people and more about paying attention to those passing patterns. If someone becomes infected, you can rule out anyone who never passed that person a card.
Now, the plague doctor has to be sneaky and strategic about passing out those infection cards. He can't be too obvious. I like the art in the game. The plague doctor infection cards are creepy. The thing that is a little clunky is passing out those player decks. It's not like handing out one roll card or dealing random cards. Each deck is preset, so you kind of have to do a shell game shuffle with the decks.
I would put this game in the short, light, filler category. There is some player elimination, but because the game is so short, you don't have to worry about people sitting out for a long time. I would say it works best with at least 5 players. You can even add 2 sets of the game together to play up to 12.
Yeah, be sure to check out Infected on Kickstarter. Well, thanks for joining us and subscribe to our YouTube channel.